me, that was super exciting because it was a stark difference from the verbal course I had gone through. Although I think that was really good for verbal, I think for quant, it really helped me optimize for the very short time that I had. I knew where I stood and on each section before I gave it. And after I did the concept files, I didn't even get the time, get enough time to do Scholaranium. And I think given that, I think it was really helpful in getting my score up. This definitely helped me solidify any misconceptions I would have right then and there. So I think that was super helpful. I didn't have to spend a bunch of time, a lot of time afterwards to cement it, because my concepts were being cemented then and there to clarify. Because I knew that I thought there were certain questions that I thought were no-brainers. I thought this was pretty easy, and while dragging and dropping, I realized that I got them wrong. Right. So then I would go back and see, okay, this is something that I missed. So I would then and there get it revised, have it done thoroughly before moving on. So I think that's a superb addition to the entire platform, the great platform that already exists.
So I think like the course where like Quant 2.0 really helped me was clarify those concepts, because what they do give is they test your ability of a particular concept, because every, like suppose it's divided into different parts, numbers, algebra, and geometry. And in geometry, even like what are the different concepts that you should know. And then this test your ability on that. They see like, oh, maybe, like your concepts are not that strong, right? Once you give those quizzes. And that's when they tell you like, do these concept based files, which actually tell you what is the right process to do a one. And what I really love like about the whole the quant course was that it gave you, like, after the concept, you do a concept quiz, making sure you cement that concept. And then after that, the main part was like doing the process and the GMAT skills, because I think that really improves, like once you are clear with the concept, how do you apply the concept in like, facing with a question that would actually come on GMAT. So making sure you know the process, right? You can apply that concept. That is a process skill. And then basically using that process skill in a GMAT level question. And so I think that was cemented throughout with that course, the concepts and the process it followed. And it's definitely like how to solve a GMAT question after that. So for each quant-based topic, doing that, I think that really cements your understanding of how to go about it.
When I went back, okay, so the GMAT, I thought, know a bunch of formulas, write it and you're fine, But one thing I noticed with eGMAT was, again, it broke it down to brass taxes, and it taught you how to think time efficient, like, with time on your mind, right? So one thing I tried to do was I was trying to look for shortcuts. Like I was trying to, like, for instance, on one of the algebra ones on number properties, if you're trying to find the square of some large number, looking at the ends, right? Looking at like the last unit digits, like it is, I don't know, 1,999,000, whatever, times 1 million. Like just look which one has a 1, because 9 times 9 is 1. It's little things like that. It's those things that would actually give you the cue of like not skipping steps, but you already know what the result you're going to get, so you don't have to go through the entire process. Instead, you just look for those little things that will save you time, And one thing that what I would really recommend the eGMAT for the quant, absolute value. Absolutely, you give the best absolute value course. I could not pass absolute value to save my life. And I would typically score A's in math. Like if I had one weakness in math, it's absolute value. It was terrifying because it's confusing. I thought absolute value was, you get the absolute value of the x. It's one, if it's negative, it's positive. But one thing eGMAT does is that it makes you understand in a number line, like as a distance, right? So you have to understand, you get that absolute value, look at it as a distance, not necessarily a negative and a positive. And so by the time you start to understand, I'll give you an example, like making the number signs, like, x less than minus, or x less than or equal to 4. For me, I would actually try to do the math. Oh, then if it's positive, negative, no, create it on a number line, You flip your sign right in the middle. If whatever, like x less than 4 equals 2, whatever, put your number right in the middle, flip your sign, give it a distance of 4 left or right, and you're done. Like, it really helped. And I was cutting my absolute value time from 4 or 5 minutes, a minute.
Wow.
And and one thing I did notice too, take your time, understand the question. It would take me sometimes 90 seconds to understand the question and 10 seconds to answer.